What is up, Troop Nation? It is your girl, Noni Juice, and you already know I got my boy Ben Jammin with me.
It's amazing.
Now, Ben Jammin, we are not by ourselves, are we?
No, not at all. Not at all.
We have a very special guest with us today, so bring him in. Bring him in, Ben Jammin.
Today we have Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
Oh my God.
You already know we had to do that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
How did you even think to start your podcast like that?
Oh, off the gate. Like this. How did I start? I think in the beginning I just started in the beginning because I wanted to learn things. You know, I wanted to have like an honest conversation of learning people's journey and why they are the way they are and what got them to where they are today.
Yeah.
And after that just became so interesting to me, you know. But the hardest part is in the beginning was like kind of the language barrier. You know, English is not my first language, so that was harder for me. But after that, I'm just enjoying it.
What makes you interested, like in what makes people tick? Like, when did you even find that out about yourself?
I've always been like that. I always, you know, even my teammates, I was always asking questions like, "Hey, how did I do this better? How did you get here? Like, did you get drafted?" I was asking like, "Okay, you got drafted. Like, how did you get in the league? You know, stuff like that." And then everybody has a different story, and a lot of times it's similar to yours. And the reason I asked that is because our story is actually kind of crazy as well. The way we came to be and came to the States, but and that always motivates me. Actually, it gets a certain way of like me being motivated, saying, "Hey, this is we're blessed to be here."
Yeah, I've seen that you had some heavy hitters so far on your podcast, but is there anybody that you're just like, okay, I for sure want this person on my podcast. I don't care what it takes to get them. Who would that be?
It's a lot of people, but like one of the people I talked about was like Elon Musk. I told the guys, and it sounds crazy, but and for like different reasons, not for like people who talk about X, Twitter, and like no, it's more of like for the future and because he has a different way of thinking, and I don't think people realize how much it actually takes to not only think forward but to actually execute as well and be like, okay, this is what I want. Because the stuff he's doing is things that we talk about as kids. Like, I want to build spaceships.
Yeah.
Like, I want to build like self-driving cars that fly. We talk about that as kids, and then everybody's like, oh, all right, whatever. But he actually does it now, and he's the closest thing to like
I mean, he's almost like a superhero at this point.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, the man's got robots. He's also doing the brain chip, the brain implant, the Neuralink. I think that's insane,
That
bro.
would be one of my topics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
I mean, how do you think that's going to impact the rest of the world one day? Like the
Yeah,
whole,
like AI.
AI, the Elon Musk effect, really, because he's leading a generation. He's almost like our Tony Stark.
And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it makes me a little nervous.
no, so it's good that it makes you nervous. That means like you have a sixth sense of things. If you didn't, you're oblivious. You're oblivious to anything around you.
Yeah.
You have to be nervous because you got to understand like wherever there's good, there's bad as well. So it goes both ways. How would this impact? Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist. But one of the things I would say is that you've seen how much the phone has impacted our generation.
Right.
How much
Already, bro.
iPad
Just from like
and
2007
and how much?
and up.
What year were you born?
92.
92?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
me?
95.
95.
I'm a Gemini June 6th.
You remember
yes.
the
gosh.
payphone? You remember when people used to go out?
I remember the
payphones?
payphone.
Do they even exist anymore?
You know what's
At the
crazy?
corner
I
store.
just told Ben Jammin when
You know
that
what I mean?
AT&T phone outage went down, I said we need to have payphones again because we can never be in a situation where we don't have access to be able to call for an emergency or
Interesting.
anything. We need those payphones back.
You remember the computers? You remember the big ass TV and computers and you got to click and you got to wait?
Yeah.
Or like emails or MSN,
So what do you think
Messenger,
is all going there?
MySpace,
Yeah.
and now social media is different. Like, if that impact is crazy, you can only imagine what's gonna happen when people can walk again,
Right.
Man.
or people can only if they can afford it. And he's one of those guys who's gonna make it affordable for people to have access to these things.
That's very interesting for you to put it that way. So if correct me if I'm wrong.
I feel like we're having a podcast now. It's crazy.
you know, that's how our generation gets down, though. You know, as far as like, you know, interviews and just talking to people, man. It's just a discussion, just a conversation.
Sure.
You know, because as like how you already put it yourself, you know, I've always been inquisitive about like just figuring out who people are, like what brings them to be and who they are. And I mean, obviously, technology has had like a big impact on how you know see life. But like honestly, one of my biggest questions to you is like, dog, like. Coming over here to America, right? Coming over here to America, like how do you have you ever got into like Greek mythology?
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean, God? This is part of his. This is how this is what you learn in like not kindergarten, like but
In
really
school,
early age.
yeah.
Yeah, Greek mythology, and who's who, but actually then you take it from Greek mythology and you apply it to like real history, and it actually tells you like who was who during the history time. Who's Hercules? Who's Theseus? Who's Odysseus? Everybody.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so who did you like learn about and like be like, you know, is Hercules somebody to you like man, I can't believe like this man was so strong, or like even Zeus, because like honestly, bro, I grew up watching like Hercules, the movie, the Disney joint, you know, and I'm like that had a profound impact on me because I realized like people can be superheroes one day, like.
Yes, one thing I would say that you always got to keep in mind, all these characters, I want to call them characters, quote unquote, all these people throughout the time of history are based on a real person.
Interesting.
It's not something made up, you know. And it's also crazy, you could work both ways. Is either they're based on a real person or somebody after this character is built will try to become them. Here's for Elon Musk trying to be like Tony Stark. I'm joking, obviously, but you know what I mean. Like it's one of those things that it does impact the way we live. And if you're a person who like always evolves, you want to take stuff like that. You take like Hercules' strength, Odysseus' cunning, and you take all these things from different people, and you learn from the stories. Smart people learn from stories and other people's like experiences, and not trying to say like, I want to mess up. I don't never want to mess up. I want to learn from other people. I want to learn from other people. I never want to mess up.
That's just being wise, though, right? Like that's just taking wisdom from others and applying it to yourself. That's what life is supposed to be about. Like that's one thing I love about you and your brothers, though. I feel like I have such a profound like outlook on life that actually needs to be adopted. To be honest with you.
Yeah, people said this all the time. You should see like a family. Dinner or dining table. Sometimes you think like we're philosophers just chopping it around, and all of a sudden it would go from funny and families and kids and all these things to like, hey, like what do you guys think about this and how we view life and. But the most important thing is you gotta be like a camera. You just always gotta zoom out. Regardless of what you're doing, just zoom out and see the bigger picture and see, and understand why people are and try to. Always have a different perspective. Like your perspective, you always got to assume that your perspective is not the only one. Like you always got, every time you see something and you're like, let's say I believe that the right way is I got to ice my knees every day before the game or after the game or whatever the case might be. I can't automatically assume that's the right thing to do. I got to zoom out and say, you know what? That's one way. That's one way. Everybody does it different. Everybody recovers different. Everybody thinks differently. Like I can't feel like our kids and our nephews and everybody has to go to this school. Okay, that might be one way, but I gotta always zoom out and say, this is okay. It's my preference. I understand, but that doesn't mean it's right because it's your preference.
And I also think that when you have conversations with people who have different perspectives than you, that's how you just have a bigger world view of just things around you. That's why they say it's even important to have a diverse friend group or just diverse people around you in general, because you all are going to have different perspectives on 100%. Everything. And that makes you, like you said, more wise or just take into consideration other things outside of just how you feel about something. But I know that's what you guys do on your podcast. You do on your podcast all the time.
Yeah, no. So it's crazy. I don't do it all the time. Everything's pre-recorded. I don't have no time with basketball and work and the other stuff that I do. So I try to pre-record some stuff and try to like something I might do. I haven't really got into the phase that reacting to viral stuff. I haven't really gotten into that phase yet. Like something will come out and then I gotta.
Oh, the trends and stuff like that.
Yeah, the trends.
TikTok. Do you like using TikTok?
Not necessarily. Yeah. I'm a big social media guy when it comes to brand, but not necessarily on like.
The TikToks. You ain't out here dancing,
right?
No, it's not. I don't care. I love to like be entertaining and dance and stuff like that. But I just don't. I don't want to say it's not one of my priorities. It falls really, really behind in the list of things that I got to do. So.
Well, I mean, even with that being said, though, it's still like a learning curve to that because ultimately you're still promoting your podcast, you're still getting it out there, and that's the important thing, you know. And I'm pretty certain you know what it is, you know. Ultimately, it comes down to consistency. So that stuff all happen.
Yes, I think. And I want to say this because I've got a lot of messages about people with podcasts and how do you grow your podcast? And do I have to have like millions of followers and following and for them to kind of love your podcast? And it's like, no, not necessarily. Yeah. You only need like 10 people to listen to you daily. You know,
that's literally it.
So if I put 10 people,
it doesn't take everybody.
Today, we probably don't fit in this room. Yeah. You know, and then 10, it becomes 10, and then it becomes 50, and then 50, 100 people.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got to grow that fan base.
1,000.
Core people.
Because you've seen podcasts that have been here for like 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. And now you see them grow, and they're like, oh, my God, look at this podcast just blew up. It's probably like a year old. No. It's 10 years of podcasting and accumulating a fan base or understanding who you are and what you bring to the table and getting better.
Right. Yeah. 10 years at 10,000 hours, you really got to put in that work.
Yeah, because to me, podcasting, creating content is like being an artist, right? To you, any episode, any conversation you have, it's a hit. I'm an artist. Everything's a hit. Whatever I bring out, you get into the studio, right? Quote unquote, everything's a hit, right?
You get to spin some bars.
Yeah, but necessarily when the numbers wise and download wise, you don't get to determine that. It's the audience and the viewership and the fans get to determine like, oh my God, this episode was lit, and you click on it.
Right.
But as an artist, you've had interviews that maybe you had with somebody else, and that was like, oh my God, that interview was fire.
Yeah.
But that's it. So.
Well, speaking about some bars, I wanted to ask you: have you ever been in the studio? Like, do you want to be a rapper? Have you ever thought about being a rapper?
Nah.
You know, your mom has her lovely song. We play it on the stage all
thank
the time.
You. You know
your
what?
brother, he does his thing.
You know what? Thank you, and I appreciate you guys for that because, like, to me, she's my mom, so I'm going to support her regardless.
Right.
I'm doing my thing. Yeah. But for you guys to play her songs and love her songs and play it here, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's all love.
But when it comes to rapping, maybe for fun, to do it at home and just like if you go through my brother's phone, you probably have a lot of videos of us rapping to each other, like freestyling for sure. But
has Dame ever, asked you to hop on one of his tracks?
No. But this Dame he's amazing, man. He's an amazing human being. He's an amazing artist as well. Like. And I think he has a lot of collabs coming out. He's gonna be. I don't want to give it away, but he's gonna be in a lot of people's albums this year. And
Dame time.
Dame time. Yeah. He's doing a lot of cool stuff, man.
Okay.
Right.
He's a great guy, and I didn't know that before about him through his team, through his people and stuff like that. But now, like being teammates and being friends, like it's different. Like he's
you get a chance to chill with him.
Yeah, just. Being in the same blog room, being like going out with him and going for dinner or doing something like that. And like he's a great dude, man.
And then speaking of people you get a chance to kick with, you and Giannis are actually going to be at the Potawatomi Casino Club this Friday. Is that correct?
Yeah. Man, everybody come out there, show some love. I think tickets are sold at taliveshow.com. People ask me about the price. It's like $43. And the reason is because of my jersey. It's 43. It's like it's just symbolic. It's not even for the you know what I mean? It's not for the money. It's for like whatever the cost is, and it's more for people to come in and get together and get a feel of, of what we do as a family and show support. And we wanted to do it in the city and not like anywhere else in Northern New York or LA. Like I wanted to do it in Milwaukee because I felt like this is the place that deserves it all.
Much appreciation.
Of course. No, for sure.
It's definitely your second home.
And also, we want to shout out your show coming on to The Truth starting April 3rd.
Yes,
We're so excited for that.
You guys are doing great jobs. You're doing a good job. So I was like, you know what? I got to come to the show. So
that's all love.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure everybody, you guys go get your tickets for the Thanalysis Podcast live at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. We got Thanasis. We got Giannis is going to be there. Wait, how did you even get him to come? Because is he a podcast guy?
No, he's not a podcast guy. And actually, I told myself, like, I didn't want to bring him last year, the first season. But then I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have one brother each season, and I got a lot of brothers, so I gotta like work on my seasons. But wanted to have him, and just it wasn't hard. And we'll talk about that in the pod. It wasn't really that hard to like persuade him to come to the show, but it's hard for him because he doesn't do podcasts like that. He's done interviews, but interviews and podcasts is totally different. Totally different. So that's one aspect of it. But I'm excited, man. First of all ages. You know, somebody talked about the casino. Like, it doesn't matter. It's an event space, so it's all ages. It was mostly like Potawatomi has been an amazing partner, and it's like, you know what, we'll give you guys a space. We want to bring as many people as we can and get out there and have fun together and all these things. Doors open at 6:30, 7, something like that, 6, something like that. It's gonna be DJs, music, this, that. It's more of a party, to be honest with you. But and you guys gonna enjoy it, and that's it. I think I want to say a big thank you. You guys have been amazing. We just reached 100,000 downloads on audio side.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you guys have been great. I never thought like 100,000 downloads on my podcast. People, you guys are listening, and you know, and then the audio and the visual side, you guys have been amazing. YouTube, you know, leave your comments, subscribe to Thanalysis show on YouTube. Just, you know, good or bad, just comment. Always want to get better. Every feedback is welcome.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Friday, March 22nd, everybody get your tickets. It's going up. Thanasis with us. I'm your girl, Noni Juice, and that's your boy, Ben Jammin.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go.